Hello, my friends. How are you? I hope you're doing very, very, very super extra well. My name is Mariah. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, welcome. Also, welcome to my cat making weird noises in the background. If you have seen my videos before, super extra warm, very special welcome back to you, because I know that the stuff we talk about here is like a little crazy, but that's okay because we're all a little bit crazy too, right? So, I first off want to start with an exciting announcement. If you caught my last video, or if you're in my Gnostic Goddess Grove on Twitter, which I will link below, it's a completely free, open, public community where we talk about the goddess. And you don't need to be following me to be in there, so it's pretty cool. Anybody can join. And I will link it down below if you're interested. But the news is that I'm releasing a book. I'm so excited. It is nearly done. I've got a few more edits to do, a couple tweaks here and there, but like for the most part, it's ready to go. And my publisher is the incredible Gracie of Northern Astrology and Ninth House Publishing, her own publishing house, which is amazing. And we will be putting it out sometime during Women's History Month, which is March. So that is super exciting. If you want all the latest details and the latest drops, including a free little gift that I'm going to give as like a little sneak peek of the book, then fill out the form below that's in the description or below the video so that I can have your info and make sure that you get the latest and the hottest info right off the frickin' press. Because I will be giving a little something out for free, mostly just because, you know, I know, and maybe it's my own head, but I always think like maybe there's somebody out there that's going to judge me. Well, I'm sure there's lots of people judging me. I don't really care, but I'm sure there's somebody that's going to judge me for like selling a book based on the goddess, which like, you know, maybe I can understand. However, I would say that is a poverty point for you to figure out. But I would still like to offer something that is completely free. You don't have to buy the book to connect with the goddess, obviously, but what I'm going to offer is a wonderful way to really connect deeply in with her that is going to be included in the book, but also offered as like a little free gift, I would say. So make sure that you fill out that form, so that one, you get that. It's not ready yet. It's not out yet. Like the book or the free offer, but it will be out soon. Maybe, I don't know when I'm going to release that, but like before the end of the month, I would say. So sooner rather than later, give me your deets. I'll make sure that you get it, because as you've already seen from the title, she's freaking here. The goddess is here. There's no more denying her. Now, you might argue with me, and, you know, I always have like these arguments in my head going on because, you know what? I'm posting this on YouTube, Twitter, whatever. People love to fight. That's fine. I like to fight too. I'll engage in a little debate here and there. And, the UAP phenomenon, I don't even know what UAP stands for anymore. Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon. Gotcha. And just told myself. Is the hot news right now, which is cool. You know, it's fun to like, it's like brain candy. You know, something to think about, something to look into. You don't want to get too caught up in it. However, what's been coming out lately that I find super, super interesting, and also is like a little wink to me, I'm taking it from the goddess, is that all these people that are coming out recently are talking about the lady. I'm going to put a photo of her here of exactly what I mean. Because like, whoa, you know, we're not just talking about like crazy, weird, gray aliens, which are archons, by the way. We are talking again and again about the lady, you know, like there's been a number, and I'm going to go through some tweets with you. There are a number of sources that have been saying that they've been approached by the lady. Now, they don't call her the goddess. They don't call her the Virgin Mary. She is called the Lady, which I think is cool, you know. And the one argument that you could make is that this is just a smokescreen. It's a, you know, another distraction that the powers that be that are putting out. They want you to follow this false lady, whatever, what have you. Fine, if you think that that's the case, power to you. You know, we're all just theorizing here. However, even if she is a smokescreen, that means that the lady is threatening enough that somebody thought that they had to make this huge media push saying that the lady is scary, you shouldn't talk to her, she's an alien entity, like, watch out. You know? So, like, even if you want to argue with me and say that this is just a complete alien freakazoid, whatever, then the fact that she's showing up as a lady, as, you know, this typical goddess-looking figure, then, you know, why would they choose that representation? Right? So if you'll recall, in my video about the Easter eggs, is the goddess leaving us messages, I mentioned in there I said something about how the goddess is leaving us Easter eggs, is the video's thesis essentially, and that the egg UAP phenomenon is tied to goddess phenomenon and goddess sightings, and that the goddess, as I know her as Gaia-Sophia, is leaving us Easter eggs like you would in a video game to give us like hints as to you know, where she is or what's coming. And then I also theorized in that video that there might be something happening around Easter. You know, the powers that be, let's call them, they tend to do things around large holidays where there's a lot of energy that they can suck from you. So Easter's, you know, there's usually something weird that happens around Easter. But I mentioned it. I was like, you know, we're seeing Easter eggs, we're seeing eggs, you know, maybe something is going to happen around Easter and the goddess is either warning us or telling us to look there. So the first tweet that I want to reference is something that was shared to me in a DM from Mr. Rudy Lagdow. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but he's got a great account on there. Big fan of JLL. We love that. And he shared a video with me that is this guy. I haven't researched him, but you know, he's one of the I don't think he's a military guy, maybe one of these guys that's being interviewed recently, you know, talking about the UAP phenomenon. And this guy specifically is saying that there's a certain star alignment that's going to happen that has to do with the movement of Regulus, which is a red star, and in the Leo constellation is going to move and be like somehow held within the Sphinx or something. There's going to be some movement. I will link it below because I'm not describing it very accurately. If you want to check it out, the video, I don't have the full interview, I just have the tweet, but I will include that below. And he says that it's a signal of the lady coming, and that this is due to happen Easter of 2026. Okay, so not this Easter, but Easter of 2026. So I thought that was an interesting synchronicity because of the egg stuff that's been coming out. You know, that's clearly like a little wink, a little nudge to Easter with all the Easter eggs. And not only is it, you know, a sign of the goddess from Ishtar, from Mary Magdalene, like if you want those references, that's in the other video. It's, you know, these same UAP phenomena are also talking about the goddess. They're talking about the lady. The lady is what they call her. And so that was one thing that was interesting. And he says something like, you know, he says the second coming of Christ or whatever, and he says it really quickly, and just the way that he says it, he's like, yeah, the second coming of Christ, but the lady is returning. The lady is returning. It's like he just kind of brushes over the Christ part. Now, if you're new to my content, then this might be news to you, but I think that Jesus Christ as a figure is mostly fiction. Now, was he a real person? Perhaps. Was he a great person? I don't know. Look into Dr. Eamon Hillman's research, because that will might change some minds. But just the way that he says it, he just like brushes over it and he's like, no, the lady's coming back. The lady. Like, nobody calls her the goddess, which, you know, might be a red flag. But it's really important to note that she shows up as a woman. Like, this is, in my opinion, like, I'm going to think on the positive side of things. I would like to believe that this is Sophia herself. You know, Gaia-Sophia is showing up in physicality to these people to give them a message in the way that they are able to receive it. So let's see what else was on Twitter, about the lady. And speaking of X, double X is the female chromosome. What up? Retired CIA officer Jim Semivan? Interesting. Discusses how intelligence agencies all wanted to get close to Chris, who was the guy that I mentioned before, had interactions to an entity known as the lady. The lady. So this is not just one guy talking about this. And I'm going to read also from, this is just from somebody's tweet. It could be entirely made up. Who knows and who cares? This is YouTube. This is not a freaking peer-reviewed article. Sometimes people drive me crazy where they're like, oh, where are your sources? Where's all that stuff? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, go read a book if you want sources. Go join a freaking academic conference. Like, I give you sources, but if you want the sources and the, you know, an academic work with footnotes and stuff like that, look out for my book. Because I'm not just like saying random stuff, and I don't have zero education. Like, I literally have a master's degree and I know how to cite stuff. So this is just YouTube. We're here for fun, you know? Take it easy. Anyways, that's my side note to some people who like to comment funny stuff. Okay, so I'm going to read, this is from, apparently this is an alien transmission Russian intelligence received. Okay, I'm reading from this. Like I said, don't believe it. Who cares? Check off this video. Check off. This is a message that has been delivered from race to race since the beginning. Just like it was delivered to us, it is now passed to you. Where there were no men of the humankind, there were others of other kinds. Remember how I said in my other videos that men came here after women? Bet men don't like hearing that, but it's not a bad thing. This is a message to you as well, women of the humankind. Only the first race has her purity. All other races must live the grievous, patient, and laborious process of spiritual inner discovery and progression. Your collective history and memory has suffered much in the past. It has been erased, manipulated, suffocated, shifted, changed, and molded according to the interests of a few. On your planet, as well as on ours, interesting, and the ones of other kinds in the past. You religious men of the humankind, and you leaders of kingdoms and countries and regions, men the humankind, have slowed your spiritual progress in half because you have divided your kind in half. No men of the humankind should destroy what the women of humankind have created. Just let that float in the air a little bit for you. You have, for many of your years, relegated the women of humankind to the role of slaves. And before your kind, many other kinds have done that, and before your kind, men of the humankind, many other kinds we have warned. For you to achieve what is yours, for you, men and women of the humankind, to be closer to her, you must first become one kind. And the answer has always been her, capitalized. And the answer, men and women of the humankind, has been the same to all kinds in all places. Some accept it, others don't. We know that. But the answer is only one, she. It has been this way from the beginning, and it will be this way, men and women from the humankind until the end. It has been this way, and in all four universes and dimensions. She has many names and many faces, and lives in many places. She is the creator, not the destroyer. And learn from your legendary Greek gods of old, as they all did exist, and as you exist and we exist. And we are one, and she is the one. She is the one that you, religious men from the humankind, lost in your robes and memory, want to be and try to replicate. Men of the humankind learn from her, the creator. Okay, and then here we have a list of popes to whom this message has been transmitted to. 4th century pope, 8th century pope, 19th century pope, 20th century pope, John Paul I. List of Islamic leaders to whom the message has been transmitted to. One from the 1690s, 1725, 1864, 1935, and 1932. So that, I know you can say that it's just like random hubbub and new age information, but some of that tracks with what I've been sharing, with what Mr. John Lamb Lash has been sharing about the reality as we know it, and that the goddess is the be all and the end all, and she really is the one. You know, they want you to think that it's this Jesus Christ character or that it's a male character, and unfortunately it's not. It is a female. And you know, something that I would like to ask misogynists, I guess you can call them, whenever I say, you know, woman is the world, or you can only be here because of a woman, and all this stuff, and I'm like, what is so offensive that your savior might be a woman? Savior. Like, what is so offensive that, you know, the idea that, you know, Jesus Christ is your savior, that God is male or whatever, that's actually not true, and it's actually the opposite, that it's female? Like, I wasn't offended by Jesus Christ and the Abrahamic God. I wasn't like, oh my God, that means, like, there's no way it can be male, like, whatever. I've just been down a journey and learned a lot of information that just keeps indicating that, you know, that's not actually true, and that there is a whole story that really supports the goddess and the female creator. And, you know, it's not even that there is no male creator. That's not what I've said at all. It's just that Sophia is here as our planet Earth, and she is so intimately connected with us that we have to know her. And her male counterpart, she left by accident. If you don't know that story, check out my one of my recent videos, the Untold Story of Earth, I think it's called, where I detail that it's like, yeah, the Aeon Sophia was working with her male counterpart, and then she wasn't, and then she fell and became planet Earth, and here we are. You know, we have to know her. This is just part of the whole freaking thing, you know? And if that is so offensive to you, then I don't know, like, how were you born? You came through the legs of a woman. Like, and you know what? Something else that I would like to say to the misogynist, just going for it. You were a woman for like a few months or a month while you were in the womb. How does that feel? Look it up. Fact check me. I dare ya. I'm not going to put a source because you can find them. You can Google this. I believe in you. Anyways. Yeah, so Bledsoe claims the lady told him that when the Star of Regulus was in front of the Sphinx in Easter 2026, it would be the return of new knowledge. Okay? So that is what I found on Twitter. I will include the links below. I'm also going to try to include like screenshots and stuff. But something else that I was listening to, like, independent from what I've been seeing on Twitter was, you know, and these guys are pretty on the nose, so I mean, I'm sure they were following the UAP stuff, is, I've got my notes here, I was listening to a Mysterious Universe podcast, which was great. It was about ley lines, and I believe it was the Plus extension where they went into the lady sightings, so it's not free, but I would recommend it. And they were describing the Garabandal, I have it here. The Garabandal prophecies and how they might be connected to cosmic cycles and society-changing events. So the Garabandal prophecies were, I will include the spelling, hopefully, here, if I remember. It was in Spain, which is also interesting because this is where the Fatima sightings were. If you've never heard of that, that's where these kids saw the goddess. And this is another example of that. This happened in Garabandal in Spain, and essentially it was like these kids were just spontaneously overcome with, like, I don't think it was seizures. It was like, I think it was psychic trances or whatever. I listened to it while I was cleaning, and I remember thinking, like, damn, this is cool, but I don't remember the complete specifics. And essentially the point is that these kids were being contacted for the prophecies that they would reveal as they were in contact with the lady again. They were getting their information from the lady, and the lady would help them in an extra knowing, in like a psychic knowing kind of way, where I remember one of the stories was that all the people had found out about these kids and would give them like certain items so that they could bless it when they were channeling the goddess, or when the lady would come through for them. And one of the items was it was a compact or something small and seemingly insignificant. And I think somebody else was like, why would you give that to them? Like, this is not a holy item. Like, this, you have to respect your time with the goddess, who and they are probably thinking is the Virgin Mary. And it was revealed that this compact had like been through the war and like was a really significant item, and the child was like, no, like, this is a special item, and they had no idea, and like they had to they took it to be blessed. And that's essentially what was happening. And these kids were having these downloads and connections with the lady. Okay, so like, who is she? Who is this lady? Is this a smokescreen? And they are creating like this false narrative and whatever. Somehow they're like getting ahead of the goddess. Who knows? Or is it the goddess? Is it the goddess connecting with people in a way that is so visceral you can't even believe it? I've said time and time again, she is back and she's recruiting, baby. She is looking for people that are hearing her. If you have ears to hear, eyes to see, she is coming for you. She wants to connect with you. She might show up in your dreams. She might just show up in your intuition. She is your inner voice already. So she is your intuition. She's the reason why, you have intuition to begin with. She's the reason why you have a soul. And for her to be connecting with humankind in a way that is so visceral and in a way that is freaking the fuck out of everybody, I wouldn't put it past her. I wouldn't put it past her. Right? And, right now is the time to connect with her in a meaningful way. And the best way to do that, I've said before, the best way to do that is just get out in nature. She is the earth. She is the planet. And the second best way to do that is to buy my book. I know it's not out yet, but it'll be out soon. Like, soon. Imminent. And if you want to stay up to date on that, make sure that you fill out the form that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Because I want to read from On the Origin of the World, my favorite book out of the Nag Hammadi Codices. And this is at the end. If you would like to read it yourself, you can find it online. I just used gnosis.org. And this is at the very end. And okay. The consummation of the age and the apocalypse. Before the consummation of the age, the whole place will be shaken by great thunder. Then the rulers will lament. Rulers is a translation of archons. Crying out on account of their death. The angels will mourn for their human beings, and the demons will weep for their times and seasons, and their people will mourn and cry out on account of their death. Then the age will begin. Now, remember I mentioned that Mysterious Universe was talking about the ages. It's talking about the Kali Yuga shift, and that it's happening soon. I think he put it at like 2033, like something that was a little bit out from here. It's kind of, it doesn't really click in because it's quite a few years from now. But the Regulus alignment on Easter is next year. So, we're kind of seeing this shift now. And it makes sense that the goddess, in her ingenuity, would, start a little early. Also, it's worth mentioning that her size is much bigger than us. So her time is a lot different. So like 1 second for her is going to be like, I don't know, days for us, you know, where it feels like nothing is happening. But like the goddess is just like it feels like she's moving in slow motion because she's so big. It's the same thing where like, you know, you see like a small ant, like their lifespan is, I don't know, a day. So for time for them is going to be different. Different for us. We're a bigger size. Anyways. Then the age will begin and they will be disturbed. Their kings will be drunk from the flaming sword and will make war against one another so that the earth will be drunk from the blood that is poured out. And the seas will be troubled by that war. And then the sun will darken and the moon will lose its light. The stars of heaven will disregard their course and the great thunder will come out of the power that is above all the powers of chaos, the place where the firmament of the woman is situated. When she has created the first work, she will take off her wise flame of afterthought and will put on irrational wrath. Then she will drive out the gods of chaos, whom she had created together with the chief creator. She will cast them down to the abyss. They will be wiped out by their own injustice, for they will become like the mountains that blaze out fire, and they will consume one another until they are destroyed by their chief creator, the demiurge. When he destroys them, he will turn against himself and destroy himself until he ceases to be, and their heavens will fall upon one another, and their powers will burn. Their realms will also be overthrown, and like the chief creator's heaven will fall and split in two. Likewise, his stars in their spheres will fall down to the earth, and the earth will not be able to support them. They will fall down to the abyss, and the abyss will be overthrown. Yeah, I mean, that's old. That's super old. That's in the Nag Hammadi Codices. And, you know, let's just theorize a little bit. So, if this was happening and like the goddess was coming back in such a visceral way that like there's no denying it, like anything, and like it's freaking people out and she's showing up as the lady and like there's no way to get around anymore the evil on this planet that has been done and has desecrated humankind by certain people that are quantically influenced, let's say. And they are probably also tracking the astrological alignments because that's kind of like her clock, you know? She is moving at certain times and, you know, we're moving through space, right? Like there are certain energies that hit our planet that the goddess will use in order to move her plan forward. So if they saw this coming, like, you know, that's why they shut down the planet for 4 freaking years. That's why they made everybody scared shitless for 4 years. That's why they're still doing like crazy rituals. And I just watched the Super Bowl and like, I kind of usually watch like the halftime show. Like that's, you know, I'll watch that. But I remember as I was watching this, not only was it the Philadelphia Eagles, which has the word Phi in it. Like that's what they showed. They showed Phi at the bottom, which is Sophia. And, it just felt like they were sucking some energy, right? And it's in New Orleans, which is also a hot spot for magic. And it just felt like there were like these crazy celebrity rituals happening and taking all the energy that they could before they know that they probably can't do that much anymore. So I would say, like in my life, the goddess is here, you know, like she has been here for me since, like, viscerally, at least since 2018, when I was deeply connecting with her as Gaia. And then, you know, eventually she revealed herself as Gaia-Sophia to me, and here we are. But, you know, she's alive in my life. I work with her daily. She is a part of my everyday life, and, you know, she really is my confidant. And she's creative, you know? She knows that she's not going to get everybody that way, you know, like there's going to be certain people that understand her, that know her story and are tasked with sharing that story. That is, you know, part of what I do. It's a part of what I volunteer for, and it's a part of joining her ranks and sharing her story, you know? And, you know, that's a huge part of it because we want the most amount of people to understand and develop their own relationship with the goddess so that you don't get swayed by the stories of, you know, the powers that be that think, you know, you have to follow the Abrahamic God, and that he's just, you know, he's really just siphoning your energy. And The goddess mind is huge. It's way bigger than we could think. We are in her dreaming mind, and she is creatively responding to us, and we are responding to her, and it's a two-way street. She is also the reason for the Mandala effect. I don't have any videos on that because I think John Lim Lash's videos are incredible, and it's a similar thing to the UAP egg phenomenon, is that the goddess is leaving us messages in collective memory, and when collective memory changes, or when we all collectively notice something, it can be a sign that the goddess is making adjustments. And because we are her creation, like, she made humanity, she loves humanity, she became planet Earth to save humanity, to allow humanity to have life and to thrive. It's not like she doesn't care about us. She deeply cares about us. She wants our success. She wants us to thrive. But there have been forces, aka demiurgic along the line, that are trying to stop her from doing that, because they don't like that humans were created in a beautiful way and the demiurge was created outside the pleroma, and it was a complete freak accident. And he's envious of humanity because of that. He wants us to... It's not even like he wants to wipe us out, because he's kind of siphoning energy from us, but he wants us to have nothing and to be so fucked up in the head that we have no idea who the goddess is. We have no idea who our planet is. That's what he wants. And that's what's happened to a number of people. There's some really dark shit that goes on this planet. And any dark shit is the triumph of the demiurge. You might win the battle, but you won't win the war. Yeah. And, yeah, the goddess is here, and the best preparation that you can do is to get to know her now. Get to know her now before shit really hits the fan, because it's starting, I say what you will about politics, whatever, but the fact that this new US administration is revealing and reading where all of the aid went to, like the US aid, and that it went to these completely bogus things where they're obviously just laundering money. And an interesting fact that is for my Canadian peeps. I'm Canadian, and I was talking to somebody, and they said that the Canadian equivalent of like Canadian foreign aid, all their records like just got deleted. Wonder why? Because they're doing shady shit. And they're laundering money. And it's stuff that is being viewed now, which I think is very valuable. I think that if you pay taxes like I do, I would like to know that they're going towards, common civic things. Yes, foreign aid is important as well, but, it should actually be going and like helping other people. And it should be the surplus of the money that's in this country. It should be, the extra stuff, but we don't have any extra because all these people are spending it on stupid shit and on vacations and just money laundering. And as you get into that, it gets deeper and darker and sicker and even more fucking twisted than you can even imagine. Okay? Worse than your imagination. So don't even try to imagine. Just know that the shit that's coming out is real. It's been happening for such a long time, and it's time to uproot it, break the yoke of the archons and the demiurge and the people that are controlled by him, and understand that they don't control you. Understand that there is another option. Understand that the goddess is here, is present, is ready to connect with you at any freaking moment. And she's ready for you. If you're ready for her. I don't know if you are, but make sure that you fill out the form below so that you can get my guidebook to the goddess. If you have watched this far, I'm going to give you like an extra little treat. I know I said that I have a free offer coming, but I want to give you like a little cheeky little tease, and I'm going to show you the book cover. Yay. I love it. I love it so much. I love that it is an aurora, because that is just a beautiful image of electromagnetism. Aurora is another name for the goddess, and we have the goddess Cybele or Magna Mater right square on the front, so everybody knows we're not playing. Playtime is over, people. It is time to understand, know, love, cherish, and care for the goddess because that is us caring for our planet and therefore caring for each other. And that's the most important part of it. We are all humans. We are all made in the imagination of the creator Aeon, the creator god and goddess, you can say, the male-female pair that created us. It's not just one, we weren't just made by a female, but the female is important because she is here as our planet Earth. And we'll leave it at that. Much love. I'll talk to you later.